Brother Brown, we're here today, champion and celebrating Phi Beta Beta, champion celebrating you as one of the men of Omega Psi Phi that we are so gracious and grateful to know and love. And me personally, we've always had that connection. Your crossing date was May 27th, 1972.
Correct.
I was born May 27th, 1969. So we have a connection that even before we knew each other was there. And then the fact that Cleveland, Pittsburgh, and the whole relationship we have, it's just a blessing. It's my honor, team. I'm truly, truly honored to be with you today and share this moment with you. So the purpose is that we're just going to capture history of Omega Psi Phi from Robert Brown Sr.'s perspective. So there's a few questions we got, and you can answer, fill it out however you want. It is your interview, it is your voice that we're capturing, and perhaps a young man 10 years from now, 50 years from now, 100 years from now will be tasked with writing a portfolio on Robert Brown Sr., and will be tasked with watching this session and then understanding and knowing Robert Brown Sr. here January 2023, January 2067. So it's an honor and thank you, team. First and foremost, please share your full name and date of birth.
Robert Leon Brown Sr.
Date of birth?
Date of birth, August 6, 1953.
August 6, 1953. Next question. Initiation. What was your line number, the date, and the chapter?
Okay. My initiation date is May 27, 1972. My original line number was 6. And I have some memorabilia with that number on it. When I crossed, it became 5.
Okay.
Okay. So, and I was the chapter, Omicron Psi.
All right.
Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I was attending Carnegie Mellon University.
We understand and appreciate how lines shift and change, and what you start with may not be what you end, so we could keep it moving from there. You said there was 6 that started, 5 finished.
My number was 6.
Okay.
But when I crossed, it became 5.
Okay.
Because one of the ones before me did not make it to the finish line.
Right. Okay. Where were you born and raised, team?
I was born in Greenwood, Mississippi. My family moved to Cleveland, Ohio. I believe I was about 4 years old. So that was about 1957. So Cleveland, Ohio is really all I knew growing up. 17, I went to Pittsburgh, okay? And then in 1986, I came to California.
Okay.
So now I have been in California, in the state of California, longer than I've been in any other state.
Blessing, blessing. Pause. Do we want to turn this music off? Is it interfering in any way, shape, or form?
It probably will. I didn't think about it. It's low enough to where it would be fine, but from now, yeah, we need to stop it.
Do we want to go back and start it over, or do we? It doesn't matter.
No, because the stuff is going to be natural.
Okay.
But let me.
So you just turn it off. There should be just. There you go. All right. Can we continue? We good? Mm-hmm. All right. So now to your family, your immediate family. Can you share with us names and?
Sure. Growing up, there was 7. So I had 6 siblings. My oldest brother, Fred, he's now deceased. The second oldest, William, he's now deceased. Lawrence, he's still alive. Then there's Vera, she's still alive. Curtis, he's now deceased. Don, he's still alive. And Myself. That's it.
You the
And
baby?
I'm the youngest.
Okay.
Yes. And both parents are deceased. My mother was 98 when she passed, and my father was 83 when he passed. So if I don't screw up, I have longevity in my genes.
The Browns live long.
Yes.
That's a blessing, team. What is your education? What did you major in, and what now is your profession?
Okay. My education is I have a degree in chemistry. I've majored in chemical engineering at Carnegie Mellon. However, I did transfer to the University of Pittsburgh. I got married, life got in the way, and I eventually graduated from University of Pittsburgh. So, with that degree in chemistry, I now work for the city of Los Angeles as a supervisor. I'm a senior environmental compliance inspector. I have 4 inspectors under my wing, and but right now there's 2 vacancies, right, as inspectors, ECI, environmental compliance inspectors. And one of my inspectors is our very own Lyle Calvary.
All right.
So
And
I've been with the city since 1987.
We'll have to talk some more on those vacancies, because that's an opportunity that perhaps somebody could benefit from, and we'll continue the conversation. What inspired you to become an Omega Man?
Okay, well, as a freshman at Carnegie Mellon, I didn't know anything about fraternities, very little. I had a group of guys we used to hang out with, and one of the guys was John Pruitt. He's also from Cleveland, but he went to another high school. And we were walking down across the campus, and to us, the big man on campus was the bossless of the chapter, and his name was Jeffrey C. Hollis. And he said, "Brown, you know, we need men like you and Pruitt in the fraternity." So I'm a freshman. I don't know anything, and that was an honor, because I tell people, many are called, but few are chosen. And I like to think of that as being chosen. And so that's how I joined. Now the faculty of Carnegie Mellon, we were in part of this CMAP, which was Carnegie Mellon Action Program, which was a program that tried to bring underserved black youth into Carnegie Mellon University. And so we were there. That's how we got there. And the administration, most of those guys were Qs. Okay, so I said, wow. And the only woman was a Delta. So we were done. And that was, the rest is history. My good friends that we hung out with, and the amazing thing is that 50 years later, we are still good friends.
And that's Omega, the beauty of
Yes,
Omega.
yes.
And the years later, so I know that when we at the Grand Conclave, you were celebrated as having, the 50-year pin.
Correct.
How many of your LBs were there present as well?
Let's see. There was me, Larry, Greg, Kenny Morris, and Anthony Maddox.
So all 5 of you were there.
Yes, but the line 11 crossed.
Okay.
Yeah, I wasn't the tail dog.
Oh, okay.
No, that was just my line number.
All right. So there was 11 on the line.
11 crossed.
11 that crossed.
Yeah.
And then of that 11, there were 5 present to
At
be
the
recognized at
conclave.
50.
Yes.
Okay. And the other 6, are you still in contact with them?
not all of them. Kevin Love, I don't hear much from. Reuben Kendrick, I don't hear much from. Cecil Walker, don't hear much from. But the others, yes.
Okay, that's a blessing.
So,
what are some of your most treasured moments in Omega?
well, I think one of the treasured moments was, of course, crossing, because this was the first time that I went through a real process from start and a goal in mind to finish, to become a member of Omega Psi-Phi. So that was special. It's always been special. So it's one of my most cherished moments.
As it should be. And it's a blessing.
Yes, it is a blessing.
What leadership positions have you occupied in the fraternity?
Let's see. I have occupied every position with the exception of chaplain on the local levels. On the district level, I have been talent hunt chairman, and I owe that to the late Raymond Gibson. He appointed me to that position, and that was good to me. I mean, I really appreciated the fact that this man would entrust me with such a humongous task to be talent hunt chairman, and working with the other chapters, working with the talents involved and all of that. So that was special.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, you were the Grand Marshal at 96.
96, I wasn't the Grand Marshal.
Okay.
Okay, Tony Collins was the Grand Marshal, right? But he had deputy marshals.
Okay.
And I was one of the deputy marshals.
Okay.
And a lot of things people don't realize was that bringing George Clinton to the Shrine Auditorium, that was my responsibility.
There you go.
People don't know that.
Well, now we know.
I brought him. Yeah.
And his song,
yes,
Atomic Dog, inspired many men of Omega.
That's right.
To seek Omega, myself included. I'll admit it. It was Atomic Dog. I'm not, I ain't too proud to say it.
Okay.
And then here, like you say, years later, he was initiated into the organization as well.
Right.
So we have, you having that influence of bringing him to the shrine as part of the celebration with the Clave.
Yes.
And then his song just continued to grow and flourish.
That's right.
To the point where now we recognize him as a member of Omega Psi-Phi.
That's right.
So what a blessing that it was Robert Brown Sr. who knew. It was you that sowed that seed that, George, you should be the buzz.
Yep. Well, yep. So, yeah.
So thank you, Brother Brown.
Oh, yeah.
And Brother George Clinton as well.
That's right.
What a blessing. Share with us service activities that you were involved that had the most impact.
Service. Well, there's been a couple. One, Allensworth, when we go up to Allensworth and we tell the people about Omega Psi-Phi and learn about our history at Allensworth. This was a black town, a thriving black town that mysteriously disappeared from the face of the earth because someone or something damaged the water supply. A thriving black town. So, but yeah, that's I like that.
Well, we appreciate that, and there's history, like you said, with the Allensworth, as well as across the America of cities that were black owned, and being stolen, squeezed out, wiped out, whatever you want to call it, disappeared, flooded, whatever you want to call it, for the sake of benefiting someone else. there was one story that was told when they were, expanding west, and they were just giving lots to people. But none of those lots were ever offered to men of color, to families of color. And why is that? You were telling people to move west,
right,
but wouldn't offer us those same opportunities. And even then, the GI Bills, when people came back, lenders were told not to lend to black men.
Redlining.
Right.
That's that process.
And it's just, the history of history of America, excuse me. And it's unfortunate, but we still have, like you said, the stories of Allensworth that can share and inspire and tell us and the next generation that we are greater than what we're portrayed as here in America.
Right.
We owned, we flourished, we prospered. We had vibrant, living communities that were black owned. So Allensworth was one of those. And
another special one is back in the 90s, every chapter did their own achievement week. Mm-hmm. And me, Rodney Anderson, a couple other brothers, we got to talking. And we says, hey, wait a minute. We do this program every year. Why don't we do this together? And that became the Southern California Area Achievement.
There you go. Brown, look at you, just an initiator, a creator on his own. On GP, Brown starts things. And look what they flourish into today. We have over 1,000 people at the Achievement Week luncheon this year. And it was because you, collectively with a couple other brothers, Rodney Anderson, are making it happen.
Yeah, I have a plaque for that.
You should have more than a plaque. We should have a doggone street named after Brown somewhere.
Well, you got to pass away before that happens. So I'm not rushing.
I want to be here.
Yeah. I want my flowers now.
Well, we're giving them to you now, Tim. We're so grateful to have you here. Okay. The next question is reclamation and retention. Is there anything that you could suggest or recommend that we could do to reclaim and retain brothers?
Well, the first step in any process is dialogue. Mm-hmm. We have to find out where the brother is. Why aren't you coming? What could the fraternity do to bring you back? What is missing? We have to ask those questions because they're going to be different for each individual. And I have my own personal reclamation story, and that's when I first came to California back in '86. Somewhere around '87 or '88 or so, I ran across my line brother, Kenny Morris. Mm-hmm. And, we were chopping it up, and I said, you know what, Kenny, you need to come back to the fold. I didn't push it, right? And every time we'd meet, years later, blah, 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 I said, you know what, Kenny, we still could use, a good brother like you, right? And he was in Riverside, and lo and behold, sometime later, Ken Morris, right? He is recognized as a leader in Pyro. He's been bossless. As a matter of fact, former district representative Greg Boone thanks me every time he sees me. He said, Brown, man, you brought Kenny Morris back, man. Thank you, brother. Same way with Jelani Bikari. So, and as a result of that reclamation, we got another line brother, Vincent Harris. He is now financial up in Reno, Nevada. Mm-hmm. So reclamation, it's not an instantaneous process, but sometimes you just got to put the seed, the little thought in their mind that, you know what, come on back, come on. And that's it.
So when you came to California, was Phi Beta Beta the first chapter that you joined, or did you join any other graduate chapters?
Yes, Phi Beta Beta was the first. I had never even heard of any other chapters in California. Matter of fact, I was working for the city of Los Angeles, and one of our fraternity brothers, I forget his name, Fred something. And he said, yeah, man, you ought to come to Phi Beta Beta. We meet Friday, I think it was third Friday at that time. So he said, yeah, come on down and, get with Phi Beta Beta, see what we're about. Okay. So I come there. He's not there, right? But I meet one of my long friends, Bruce Gray, with an A. He was bossless at the time. And we struck it off just like that. He said, Brown, I want you to run for KRS. KRS? Wait a minute, I just got here. My seat's not even warm. And so he said I should run for KRS. And I did. And matter of fact, I beat out Youngblood, Keith Youngblood, for the spot. And that was my first introduction to office at Phi Beta Beta. It was 87, 88-ish. Mm-hmm. So, and I've been with Phi Beta Beta ever since.
Well, it's a blessing, Tim.
So,
and we thank you for your service and your commitment and inspiring all of us. So you found Phi Beta Beta and then have stayed with Phi Beta the entire time that you've been here in California. Correct. That's a blessing.
Oh yeah, and I have friends in Zeta Rho, mm-hmm. Lambda O, Zeta Tau, all of the chapters.
So what is it about Phi Beta Beta that has stuck and kept you as a foundation, a glue to us?
I think it's because Phi Beta Beta reminds me of OSI, Omicron Psi, in that Omicron Psi was, it wasn't a big chapter. You knew everybody, right? And the friendship, so.
What a blessing. What are some of the great things about Omega that we should protect and sustain?
Well, there's only one. There's only one, and that is friendship. Mm-hmm. Friendship is essential to the soul. It is. You have to be friends first. And if we keep that, we'll be fine.
There you go.
We'll be fine.
Share with us one of your dearest fraternal friends and the friendship that you have with that individual.
Okay. I would have to say John Oscar Pruitt II. He was, he's my 10. Mm-hmm. Okay. And he's from Cleveland. I'm from Cleveland. He's my freshman roommate, and we just hit it off. There was no breaking in period where, I gotta watch this guy, he's gotta watch me, feel each other out. It was like, bam! Brown and Pruitt from day one. So John O. Pruitt II is my ride or die.
There you go. So, question for you. Imagine 20 years from now, there's a young man seeking Omega, and we're going to use your words to encourage him and share with him why Omega is what it is today. So what would you tell a young man 20 years from now that would encompass the definition of Omega?
Okay, one, you have to be a friend. You have to have high aspirations. You want to do more. You want to serve your community or uplift. You want to be the force that brings the community up. So
those pearls of wisdom and keeping our lamp full of knowledge.
That's right.
And scholarship. We appreciate you, Brown. Is there anything else? We're done. Is there anything else you want to add to this conversation?
Well, I truly believe that the Omega Psi Fraternity Incorporated is the greatest fraternity on this planet. And mainly because, one, friendship, and our 4 cardinal principles: manhood, scholarship, perseverance, uplift. Yeah, that's it.